There's something about the beginning of a garden that feels almost sacred. The earth is still bare, the beds not yet formed, the seeds waiting patiently in their paper envelopes, all of it full of quiet promise. These days, we're building something new here, a garden that will, Lord willing, feed our family through the seasons ahead. It starts simply with measuring and digging, with hands in the soil, with plans that may change as the weather does. But before anything can grow, there's work to be done. It's never glamorous, this early tending, but it feels honest and hopeful. As I plan my first garden, I'm reminded how small beginnings often are. A garden doesn't rush itself. It unfolds in its proper time. And in the waiting, there's faith. Faith that what is planted with care and prayer will, in time, bear fruit. So, over the next few days, we'll be outdoors, building garden beds, choosing seeds, trimming trees, and letting little feet wander between it all. Just the steady work of tending land and learning patience again. I'm glad you're joining today. And if you're new here, my name is Elise, and this is my homestead cottage, where I share all things motherhood, homesteading, baking, gardening, and living my little life with my little family in the Tennessee Appalachian foothills. I didn't ever really like being outside very much as a kid. Of course, I liked being outside with other people, but as far as getting my hands dirty in the ground and playing with insects and things like that, I wasn't really a big fan. I really actually didn't mind caterpillars and other ladybugs and things like that, but I think as I got older, for some reason, I think I got stung by a wasp once and it just scared me to death. And so ever since then, I was always a little bit squeamish and less enthusiastic to get outside and do some gardening work. But gardeners have been in my family for literally generations. My aunts, my cousins, my grandmothers, and my great-grandparents from Sweden were all farmers and had always had crops and livestock. My mom, she has an amazing garden, so I don't really understand why. I just didn't like being outside so much, but it's in my blood, I guess. So I think it was around when I was pregnant with my son, where I was able to actually spend some good time in my mom's garden and get to reap the benefits of her produce, from fresh tomatoes and cucumbers and all of her blackberries. And that is just what really got me inspired and excited to potentially start my very own garden. Definitely a new thing for me. I still don't really like touching decaying things in the ground, but I think that's just part of it. And I actually really love being outside now because my son is just so excited and enthusiastic about being outdoors. So I'm really hopeful that our garden is actually going to be a great thing for him and I and our family, and he can help me do some planting and gardening and other fun little things like that. We're using these barnwood pieces that were part of a shed that was right outside my back door, right where we actually built our garden beds. The dimensions of my raised beds that I wanted to have, based on the research that I had done, where you can get the highest yielding produce in a smaller space, would be an 8-foot by 4-foot by 18-inch depth of the raised beds. And That was my goal. I really wanted to achieve this because they said if you are planting potatoes or carrots or any root vegetables that need to go down deep, you really need to have lots of good growing space for them so that they have plenty of room to expand. So that was my criteria. Now, a happy coincidence is that the minimum height that we ended up going with was around 24 inches, which means that my potatoes can actually grow a lot deeper. So that was just a very happy accident because these old timbers that we had are probably around 80 or 90 years old, about the same age as my little house, because these timbers used to be part of a garage at the back of my house, and you could actually kind of still see the outline of the gravel of where the building used to be. Last summer, we tore this building down. It was absolutely disgusting, but making raised beds like this is just really ideal. It's just nice to see that my raised beds are made out of the same material that the old shed was. So it's kind of like a full circle moment, you know, the whole new life of old things. Good morning. Since a few days ago we finished making my raised beds, we had some really nice weather to just get it knocked out. It started snowing and flurrying this morning. So this is actually the perfect time for me to finalize the layout of my garden beds. And I was a little bit nervous about it because I knew we were getting close to this last frost date. And since it is literally snowing today, it is just perfect. So I'm going to go through my seeds, and I thought it would be really interesting for me to tell you the kinds that I have and what we're going to be growing in our garden this year, but also explain why I went with this brand in particular and the layout that we're going with. So without further ado, let me just, isn't this so handy? This is actually a picture frame or picture box for scrapbooking, but I mean, it's perfect for little seed packets, and I will link it on my Amazon storefront for you if you are interested. It just makes things so nice and organized. First up, this year we're going to be growing a little variety of lettuce. So I have a butter crunch that grows really well here in Tennessee. Since I'm a new gardener, I don't really have any experience gardening, but my mom and her friends all say that this is very successful here. So this is from the brand Botanical Interests, and because I got so many seeds directly from their website, they sent me a thank you lettuce variety pack. And I don't know if we're going to plant that one, but we'll just see, and, you know, see what happens in the moment. Then we're also going to do some cilantro. We eat a lot of cilantro here in my household, and we just really love the smell and taste of it. So we're going to be mixing herbs and flowers as well as other vegetables and root vegetables inside the beds. And so we've got lemon balm. This mint will probably go into a pot because it is a little bit invasive. And basil, of course, with the rosemary. So all of those, minus the mint, are going to go directly in one of the beds. I've helped my mom in her garden for a couple of years, and growing up my mom always had beautiful gardens, but we've never grown peas or snap peas, so this will be a first for us. This is also Botanical Interests. This is the Sugar Daddy, and they say that it's sweet, stringless, crunchy pods that are delicious, fresh off the vine. They may never make it to the kitchen, so you can eat it raw or you can eat it cooked. So we'll just see how it goes. So the reason why we're going with peas is because my little son really loves peas. It's just the funniest thing. I don't understand. He loves peas. He loves any green vegetable, which I don't know how I got so lucky, but my kid eats his vegetables. And then we have cucumber as well as a few other things. And I've got some flowers mixed in here too, but we're just gonna go through vegetables right now. So we got cucumber and a good variety of onions. And so I have some yellow sweet Spanish onions as well as some Italian red Florence scallions. And I think we're going to go with the scallions this year. I've got quite a lot of them, and we really love scallions. We actually prefer eating them over regular onion and things. So it is just very delicious. And I also got another thing. There's also bee balm to bring in all of the pollinators and butterflies, because my son loves butterflies, and I do too, you know. I just don't like things in my space. Finally, for my botanical interests haul, I have a cover crop. This is just common buckwheat, and I just have that for when my lettuce is all finished and I don't have anything to plant in its stead. And so we'll just plant the cover crop over there and wait until autumn, and the ground will be nice and healthy and ready to be planted again. And I also got quite a variety of flowers because I want to include some cut flowers into my vegetable beds and just make the most of the space. And also, I don't need to have a humongous garden just starting off. So half of the garden can actually be for my cut flowers. So what we got are some cosmos, and these are the apricota colors. This very pretty pink and kind of coral pink colors. I'm very excited about this. And you also can't have a garden without some mammoth sunflowers. I really want to grow a couple of these. I also would love to just grow a long row of them somewhere and just have something really pretty. So that does it for my botanical interests haul, but I also did get quite a few things from Johnny's Selected Seeds, and this is also a really highly reviewed company that I've researched. So the ones that stood out the most to me for the needs that I had, which I didn't even talk about this in the beginning, but my needs were I wanted to have heirloom quality seeds and produce, which means I can get seeds from what I've grown and continue growing throughout the however long I want to grow them. But also, these are not genetically modified or enhanced or had any kind of human alteration to them. So Johnny Seeds was highly reviewed and rated for being a very good product as well as botanical interests. So also, their germination rates are very high. That's good for a new gardener such as myself. Anyway, Johnny Seeds, I got mostly flowers from them because they are much more pricey. I have some zinnias in the ballerina variety, and these are like the blush pink, kind of creamy white, pretty, just very dainty, pretty flowers. I also got dried corn, and this is the Johnny Seeds. This is the Northstein Dent, and this one is especially good for eating corn on the cob, but also grinding into cornmeal. And I don't think we're going to plant these this year, but we'll keep it for potentially the autumn, maybe not the autumn, but next year probably. So these are very, very highly rated. And we also have some brandywine tomatoes from Johnny Seeds, and these ones look really delicious from the photos. Let me see if I have any more Johnny Seeds. I don't think I went through all of them. Well, I think that's actually all of the packets of Johnny Seeds that I have. I actually did buy some potatoes, but they haven't been arrived yet. They were very expensive. All of these seeds, I really hope they germinate. But also, so on top of getting some new seeds for my garden, I also have some from my mom's garden. So we have some fuchsia purple zinnias as well as orange zinnias, And what else is this one? This is hot pink. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. And we may just put these zinnias all around the property just because I would love to have some flowers. And zinnias are just such a beautiful variety of flowers. I just really like a lot. So that's all that I got for my garden this year. And last, in my very first video that I uploaded this year, I did go through my garden plan, but since our orientation of my beds are a little bit different, I need to kind of rework the plan just a little bit, but keep the I think context and the kind of flowers in there the same, just kind of move them around a little bit. So now that we have all of this worked out, I need to work on the layout. I have such a vision in my head about not just having a vegetable garden and having a few plants here and there, but I really want to get a good grasp on landscaping and making my house on the outside feel so quintessentially cottagey, Cape Cod, kind of manicured but still very English country feeling. Having traditional flowers in the yard is such a goal and dream of mine, but it's definitely going to be a challenge because most of the entire lot around my house is completely shaded. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge trying to find some varieties of flowers and plants that really prefer shade over sunlight. But right where we have these raised beds is the only strip of sunlight that we get at least 8 hours. I'm very hopeful that I did my calculations correctly and I do remember where the summer sun is, but these beds are exactly how I imagined them, and I hope that we can get them filled relatively soon because we've been having the most crazy weather. It's been absolutely wild. We had those 2 days of beautiful sunshine, and then the next day it was absolutely freezing. So we went out of town, came back, and now it's nice again. So hopefully we can get them filled before the next frost. I think this is finished. So here's what we got. So this is the bed that is closest to my house, and this is the furthest. I'm very hopeful that this is a good layout, so I'll just kind of explain. I've got my sunflowers up here on the furthest bed, and I have a mix of the flowers throughout both of the beds. This is a big cosmos section here. As I initially planned on having my cucumbers down here, but I had forgotten that they are so viney and they just go all over the place. And in my initial plan, I wasn't planning on having my beds parallel to each other. They were supposed to be here and then one over here. But I'm going to replace these cosmos to go down here to be my cucumbers. So then I can get a cattle panel or something for the vines to kind of grow up over and around. Hopefully I can keep it from growing over here. So that's the biggest change that I've done. I've got 3 peas towers down here, and the variety of these sugar daddies, they're not supposed to get too crazy and viney, so hopefully we can have some nice height and just keep them going up instead of out. I got all of my shallots, carrots, onions, and tomatoes here. I've got my tomato here, basil, rosemary, cilantro, and my bee balm, and a couple of zinnias here. I've got 3 zinnias, and then the cucumber, and then quite a good amount of sunflowers. Down here I've got my mom's zinnias, huge section of cosmos. We might just see how that goes if I have enough flowers. I think I should. Peas, lemon balm, mint. I initially thought that I would just do my mint in pots, but I think I can keep it well managed and keep them from getting too crazy. So mint, my peas, huge section of potatoes, and then some lettuce down here. And of course a little basil plant, because I just didn't really have enough plants planned out initially. I had a big empty space there. So I'm very happy with how this is going to turn out. I'm really hopeful that it works out well. So my brain is happy now. I still have to check up on my potatoes and figure out when they're going to be shipped and delivered to me, because they were on pre-order. Let me just check. Okay, the potatoes are probably just going to be a big cover crop for now, because I got the German butterball seed potatoes from Johnny Seeds, and they are not going to be shipped until late March to early April. So that's okay, because then we could actually get a really good cover crop going there for them and get some good health going into the soil. So that's okay. That's all right. That doesn't mess up my plans at all. If anything, that's a good thing. All right. Yeah. Yay. I'm excited. So now I have my seeds, for the most part, divided up the way that I want them to go in the garden, just for my peace of mind. So I'm going to put everything away and wait for my beds to get filled. I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun.
watching this video. I am so excited to have these beds finally filled and ready to be planted. So where we pick up next week, I'm going to start planting all my seeds and gridding out these boxes. So I'm actually going to start doing that right now, so you'll just have to wait. So anyway, I'm so sorry that you've had to wait a couple of weeks for a video. We've been out of town, we've been dealing with some sickness, and yeah, just life has gotten the better of us right now, but we're back. Everything's good. The garden beds are filled. Let's get planting. So I'll see you next week. Like and subscribe if you are interested in my kind of content. Very home, garden, baking, planting, all of the pretty things that is just so cozy and wholesome. So anyway, yeah, see you next week.